We're going to continue now talking about the concept of time in music by looking at something called feel. Now, time and feel are very closely related, but there are some important differences. And the way I'm going to demonstrate feel to you is by subdividing the beat. So subdividing is taking a big chunk of time and separating it into smaller equal parts. We've done this already when we had our bar and we separated it into 4 equal beats. Now we're going to take those beats and divide them or subdivide them into smaller equal parts as well. But before we do that, I just want to give you a demonstration as to why subdividing is so important and how it will really help you with your timing when playing. So I'm going to put the metronome on at 120. I'm just going to count the beats of the bar. I'm just going to do exactly what we did before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm going to turn the metronome down half that speed to 60 beats per minute, but I'm still going to count the same way. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So every click of the metronome, I've subdivided it into 2 equal parts, right? The first click was 1 and 2, and the second click was 3 and 4. Now we're going to take that one step further. I'm going to decrease the speed again, half to 30 beats per minute, but I'm still going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 at the same speed. Wish me luck. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so the reason I was able to do that, it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty accurate, is we took this giant space, 2 seconds. It took 2 seconds for the metronome to click. And in music, 2 seconds is forever. But in order to accurately play, I split that 2 seconds up into 4 equal parts, a half a second each, so I could better measure the passage of time. Okay, that is the goal of this, is to accurately measure the passage of time. All right, so what I'd like you guys to try to do is I'm going to put the metronome back on at 30 beats per minute. I'd like you to try to either play your bass. If you do play your bass, play string number 1 open, or just say 1 or say whatever you want or sing, but try to do it on the beat when the metronome clicks. Don't subdivide though. Okay, I'm guessing that you're probably reacting to the metronome, that you hear it and then you try to play as quickly as you can after it. And the problem with that is, well, other than it not being on the beat or accurate to the beat, is that it's going to create a feeling of the song dragging. And what that means is it'll feel like the tempo or the speed is slowing down. And in some cases, it might actually slow down, but it'll also feel heavy and it won't be enjoyable. It won't have the energy that you're looking for. It'll just kind of drag you down. I kind of think of it like those dreams you have where you can't walk or your feet are concrete and you just can't move. That's the kind of feeling when you drag by being behind or late on the beat. Now, the other thing you might do is just try to guess when you think it might happen. Like just try to, hopefully you get it right. And again, that's not great either because you're not being accurate. And if you're playing in a band or you're recording or anything like that, being able to play on the beat is incredibly important so that you can play together. Now, I'm not saying that we should all be robots and be 100% accurate to the beat because we want to add our own feel to the song, but being able to do it is the first step to doing that. The next step is I'm going to turn the metronome back to 50 and I'm going to subdivide that beat into either 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts, or 4 parts. So technically, subdividing 1 into 1 isn't really subdividing, but I'm still going to include it. So here we go. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So to me, I did not feel very relaxed. I felt kind of tense and unsure of myself. So if I was playing a song, that would translate into the song as well. Because I know it's 50 beats per minute, it's faster than what we were doing a minute ago, but still the space is so big in between those clicks, it's hard to be accurate. So let's take it one step further and look at playing or counting twice or subdividing the beat into 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I felt much more comfortable, and I think it was a little more accurate as well when I was doing that. Now this is something that you can practice as long as you have your metronome with you. You can practice it anytime, anywhere, and it will really, really help in the long run. So now we're going to split it into subdivisions of 3, which for me is the trickiest one. Hopefully it won't be for you guys, but for me it's a little bit tricky. So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and finally, groups of 4 are subdividing the beat into 4 or 4 equal chunks. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there we go, we've subdivided into 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now in music terminology, the subdividing in 1 is called quarter notes, the 2 are 8th notes, 3 are 8th note triplets, and 4 are 16th notes. Don't worry about that too much right now, I just wanted to mention it just to kind of get the concept out there. Okay, great, so now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to play a bass line and do those different subdivisions of the beat by counting them. And the bass line is going to be very simple, it's going to be 4 notes. And it's a very common bass line. Over the years, you've probably heard this bass line a million times, but it's gonna feel much different depending on what I'm counting. Now, speaking of counting, the count in is incredibly important, as I've said before. So before I start playing with it, I'm gonna try to subdivide in my head at least a couple times to get the tempo. Now, again, if I'm subdividing in 1, it doesn't really work out so well, so wish me luck. Here we go. 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 1, 1. Okay, now I'm going to split it into 2, and it's going to feel different even though I'm playing the exact same thing. So, again, thinking of the subdivision before I start, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, now 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that definitely has a different feel than the 2 or the 1. Much, much different. Now we're going to go to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's our illustration of feel. The notes I was playing with the exact same notes, in the exact same order, with the exact same timing, everything was exactly the same, but mentally it felt different. Hopefully it felt different to you guys. To me, it definitely did playing it because we've subdivided the beat into those different chunks. So there's a lot of different definitions of feel, but for right now, that's what we're trying to do, is trying to figure out when you're playing a song, when you're listening to a song, what is the subdivision of the beat? And the good news is, if you do this now and you just make the mental effort, the conscious effort to do this, after a period of time, you won't have to think about it anymore. You'll just hear something and you'll automatically know what the subdivision is. And that's called internalizing. And what that means is when you hear something, it's not a metronome on my phone or something you hear on the outside, it's almost like you have a built-in internal metronome. To me, it's almost like a heartbeat going on. It's going at the same speed. I'm not thinking about it, it's just moving, it's just grooving. And that's another important concept, is the concept of groove. You've probably heard the term before. When you're in the groove, what it means is that your timing is so solid, it's so perfect that it's not gonna move, it's stuck in that groove. Think of a record player where the needle's in one of those little grooves as it's going around. That needle's not going anywhere, it's on its path. And that's not to say that the groove is always exactly on the beat. It can sometimes be a little bit ahead, a little bit behind. But one of the main reasons for the subdividing is when you start to improvise your own bass lines or change the bass lines a little bit, whether it's rhythmically or different notes, the rhythms that you use will be based off of the subdivisions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the same bass line and I'm going to use the subdivision of 3. But this time I'm going to change the rhythm. I'm not going to change the notes, but I'm going to change the rhythm to fit the subdivision of 3. So again, I got to get my count in. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so if you're playing in a band, more than likely the drummer will give you the subdivision by what he's playing, or the guitar player, their strumming, or their picking might use the subdivisions as well, but it's very important to start thinking about this stuff on your own so that you can figure it out and apply it, right? We're trying to apply all this stuff to music. Because I know that this lesson has been almost exclusively a mental lesson, but the concept of it is going to be applied when later on, not right now, but later on, I'm going to give you some exercises to actually start implementing these different subdivisions into your bass lines and how to switch in between them on the fly. Okay, so just right now, try to listen to stuff and start to notice things that maybe you've never heard before. You'll notice that you start to listen to music a little bit differently and you'll start to enjoy it a little bit more. I know some people might think that when you start diving into this stuff, some of the novelty, some of the magic is gone, but for me, it just makes it better and better and better. Every day, I love music more than I did the day before. It's amazing. So have fun, take your time, get used to this concept, and I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Thanks a lot.